Imagine a world plunged into an eerie, perpetual twilight. The sun, a pale, ghost-like disk in the sky, offers no warmth, no light, just a dim, bluish glow. This isn't the opening scene of a post-apocalyptic movie. This was the reality for millions of people in the year 536 AD. A mysterious, dense fog descended upon Europe, the Middle East, and parts of Asia, a suffocating blanket that would linger for an astonishing 18 months. It was a year of darkness, a year of cold, and a year of fear. Many historians and scientists now agree, 536 AD was, without a doubt, the worst year to be alive. The Byzantine historian Procopius, living in Constantinople at the time, described it with chilling clarity. He wrote that the sun gave forth its light without brightness, like the moon, during this whole year. It was as if the world was experiencing a never-ending eclipse, a celestial omen that something had gone terribly wrong with the very fabric of the cosmos. People looked to the sky, but there was no comfort to be found. The familiar, life-giving warmth of the sun was gone, replaced by a persistent, bone-chilling cold. Temperatures plummeted, triggering the most severe and protracted cold spell of the last 2,300 years. Summer, as it was known, simply didn't arrive. In China, records speak of yellow dust raining down from the sky, like a fine, sinister snow. Summer frosts and snow were reported, events completely out of season, decimating harvests and creating widespread panic. The seasons themselves seem to have been thrown into disarray, their predictable rhythm broken. Across the Irish Sea, the Irish chronicles tell a similar, grim tale. From 536 to 539 AD, there was a failure of bread. The once fertile lands, which had sustained generations, could no longer produce enough to feed the population. The relentless cold and lack of sunlight meant crops withered in the fields before they could ever be harvested. This agricultural catastrophe was not a localized event. It was a global crisis. In Scandinavia, the impact was so devastating that entire villages were abandoned, their inhabitants either perishing or fleeing in a desperate search for food in warmer lands. Archaeological evidence from this period shows a dramatic drop in settlements, a silent testament to the immense suffering. The world was starving. The fog that blotted out the sun also blotted out hope. With crops failing year after year, famine became a constant, terrifying companion. Malnutrition weakened an entire generation, making them vulnerable to what was to come next. As if the darkness and the cold were not enough, they were merely the prelude to an even greater horror. The weakened, starving populations became the perfect breeding ground for disease. Just a few years later, in 541 AD, the first great pandemic of bubonic plague, known as the Plague of Justinian, erupted. This plague swept through the Roman Empire and beyond, a relentless tide of death that was undoubtedly made far more lethal by the preceding years of famine. People already weakened by hunger had no defense against the sickness. It is estimated that the plague wiped out between a third and a half of the population of the Eastern Roman Empire, forever changing the course of history. So what could cause such a global cataclysm? For centuries, the mystery cloud of 536 was just that, a mystery. Ancient chroniclers offered explanations rooted in divine anger or supernatural portents. It wasn't until the modern era, with the help of advanced scientific analysis, that the true culprit was revealed. The answer lay frozen in time, deep within the ice of the Swiss Alps. By drilling into glaciers, scientists can access an incredibly detailed climate record. Each layer of ice is a snapshot of the past, trapping particles and chemicals from the atmosphere of that year. In a core extracted from the Colnafetti Glacier, a team of researchers found the smoking gun. A layer of ice corresponding to the spring of 536 AD contained microscopic shards of volcanic glass. The chemical signature of these particles pointed to a specific origin, a massive volcanic eruption in Iceland. This was not just any eruption. This was a cataclysmic event, so powerful that it spewed a colossal plume of ash, sulfur, and other particles high into the stratosphere. Once there, these particles formed a dense aerosol veil that spread across the northern hemisphere. This volcanic veil acted like a planetary sunshade, reflecting sunlight back into space and preventing it from reaching the Earth's surface. The result was a dramatic and sudden drop in global temperatures, a phenomenon now known as a volcanic winter. The mysterious fog that Procopius described was, in fact, this stratospheric aerosol cloud. The evidence didn't stop there. Further analysis of the ice cores revealed two more massive eruptions in 540 and 547 AD. The world was hit by a devastating 1-2-3 punch. Just as it might have begun to recover from one event, another eruption occurred, prolonging the cold, darkness, and famine for decades. This extended period of environmental turmoil is now known as the Late Antique Little Ice Age. The Dark Ages weren't just a metaphor for a decline in learning and culture. For those who lived through it, the world literally went dark. The economic and social consequences were profound. With agriculture in a state of collapse, economies ground to a halt. Trade routes, like the Silk Road, faltered. Gold, the standard for currency, became scarce, forcing a shift to silver coinage, a clear indicator of economic recession. The world of 536 AD and the decades that followed was a world of struggle, a daily fight for survival against forces that no one could understand or control. It was a stark reminder of how fragile our civilizations are and how dependent we are on the stability of our planet's climate. The events of 536 AD were a turning point in history, a catastrophic climate event that contributed to the fall of empires, the migration of peoples, and the onset of a century of hardship. It stands as a chilling testament to the power of our planet and the worst year in recorded history to be alive. Thank you for joining us on this journey back to a year of darkness. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, be sure to subscribe to Infinite Union for more explorations into the most compelling mysteries of our past.